session. Uh, just sharing the screen once again. So, right. Welcome back, everyone, and good evening. So, today's session, we are going to start with a new topic because now I believe that you are through with whatever we have taught. And it's important that I've been telling you, I keep telling you again and again that you need to practice, right? Remember, after every session, we are taking sessions on Saturday and Sunday. So you have, in between, you have lot many days. So you can utilize those days for revising everything, right? Now, next, let's talk about the next phase. Today we'll be discussing about these topics, although I don't think so that it would be possible to complete everything listed down here in today's session, but we'll try to cover up to operators. So we'll be discussing expression and operators in Python. We'll be discussing what expressions are, and then we'll be talking about operators in Python. And if the time permits, we'll try to touch down on conditional programming, what it is. So the first thing first, what is an expression? Now, an expression, generally we write statements. We all know that we write statements in programming, right? And if we break down this statement thing, then we'll have two things. We'll have, first of all, we'll have expression, right? Now, expression looks like this. You can see the example written over here. I've used this as an expression, 2 plus 3. Now, 2 plus 3 basically it's an expression. And an expression consists of two major things. Sorry. One is operator and other is operand. Now, let's understand them one by one. What is an operator and what is an operand? Now, the values that you see here, 2 and 3, they are called operands, right? It's not like that in an expression you can only write values. You can use variables also. Now, this expression can be something like a plus b also. It can be a plus b plus c divided by d, right? So all these were the examples. Now, whatever I told you, all these were the examples of expression. So basically, an expression consists of operands and operators, right? So here in this example, 2 and 3 are operands and plus is an operator. Now, what is the function of an operator? Operands we have understood. Just now I told you that operands are values, can be values. Variables also can be used as operands, right? But then what is an operator? Operator is basically any symbol that is used to perform calculations in an expression. So if you want to perform any calculation, arithmetic calculation especially, then in that case we use operators, right? This is the simple definition. Technically, it might sound like it's not apt, but if we have to explain it to somebody who is very new to programming, then we can say that operator is basically, it's a symbol. It can be plus, minus, divide, multiply, even equal to, right? All these are operators, and operators are used in an expression to perform various tasks like arithmetic operations. Like in this example, you can see here 2 plus 3. So 2 and 3 are the two operands, and plus is an operator that is used to perform mathematical calculation here. It is used to add these two operands, right? So we have an expression, okay, and an expression basically has two things in it. One is operand and the other one is operator. Now, a few things that we need to keep in mind is that an expression can have multiple operands and it can also have multiple operators. Just now I gave you an example Like if we write A plus B plus C minus D divided by E. Now this complete statement becomes an expression. And there are more than two operators in this, and there are more than two operands in this, right? So together they form an expression. So we'll be writing all these expressions in our programs. This was to make you understand what exactly an expression is. Now because today's topic will be dealing with operators specifically. So let's talk about different operators in Python. But before that, let's have a quick live demo on what an expression is and how operators are used in an expression. So I'll take you to Python IDLE. Hold on. Yeah. So if I write something like 10 plus 2 divided by 3 multiplied by 5, something like that. So this whole thing, 10 plus 2 divided by 3 into 5 is an expression. And if we break it, what do we get? 10, 2, 3, and 5 are the operands. And plus, division, and multiplication symbols are the operators, right? So this is how it can be. And in place of this, we can also use variables. Okay, so if I try to do the same thing in using variables, so it will look like this. Let's take b equal to 2 and c equals to 3 and d equals to. So we can write here print. Now we know we have used the print command. We know how to use it. So we write a plus b divided by c and multiplied by d. This is what we have to write. Now we can save it quickly. I don't think so I need to tell you how to save it. Very simple. Everyone quite familiar with it. You know it pretty well. So give a name to it. Okay. Taking some time, but okay. Made it earlier. So now execute this. You know how to do it. Run module or press F5 key. So see, right? The same output we got. So an expression, the purpose of making this program was to make you understand clearly that what an expression is and what are operands and what is an operator, what are operators. So now we'll be discussing about different operators in Python. Before that, we need to discuss arithmetic operators, because these are one of the most common and basic operators that are used in all the programming languages, in fact, right? So those who are already into programming might be well aware of it, what is the purpose of arithmetic operators. But if there is anyone who is new to programming, completely new to programming, I would say that arithmetic operators are used to perform arithmetic calculations in an expression, right? So to start with, we have plus. Everybody knows what is the function of plus operator. We call it the addition operator. The examples are also given here. I have used variables here, x and y, right? So x and y, what are x and y here? X and y are the operands here, and plus this is the addition operator. You know why it is used. I don't need to tell you that it is used for adding two numbers. Then we have subtraction, right? Then we have multiplication, and we have division, and we have modulus. I'll come to it again. And then we have exponential, right? And then we have floor division. Okay, plus, minus, multiplication, then division. I know every one of you must be very familiar with it, might be knowing what is the purpose of it. Is there anyone who can tell what is the use of a modulus operator?
It
Okay,
gives
anyone?
remainder. It gives remainder.
Yeah, when we divide two values, it gives the
Remainder.
remainder. So what is the basic difference between the division and the modulus operator? I mean, both of them are used for dividing numbers, right? Then what is the difference? If we have the division operator here, then why do we have the modulus operator? Just now, one of the member told us that.
Suppose
Yeah,
we
yes.
have to work with the program, like we have to find the even or odd number, right? For that we will use modulus operator because it actually give you the remainder, and
Yeah.
divide will not give you the remainder.
Yeah. So division gives us the quotient basically. Yes, it gives us the quotient. So like just now you said that uh, modulus operator is used to find the remainder of two numbers. So that means if you want to find whether a number is even number or a odd number, then in that case we can use the modulus operator in an expression. So we'll be dealing with it, right? In a program, we'll make a program, quick program to see how it works. What is the difference? So let's check the difference practically how it works. So if I have, let's say, two values here, I have 10, and I have, let's say, 2. I'm using the division operator here, so the output is 5.0. Now, if I want to use the modulus operator, which I'll use like this, then the output we are getting is 0. I think I'm making myself very clear to that what exactly is the difference between division and modulus. You can see here when we use the modulus operator with 10 and 2, we got 0 because the remainder will be always 0 when we divide 10 with 2, right? And when we use the division operator, we got 5.0, which is the quotient. So this is the main difference between the division operator and the modulus operator. Now, the next is exponential, not used very much in basic programming, but anyone who would like to tell us what is the use of exponential operator here? Anyone? Exponents, those who have done a little bit of mathematics.
Sir, actually, it is used for power.
Yeah, used for power,
If you
right?
want,
We have
yes,
10 raised to the power of 3, we use
To
power.
find the root, square root, like.
Yes, define the power, right? To get the root, right? We use exponential, but it is not that used very commonly, right? But yes, of course it's there. Now we have floor division. Now floor division is quite interesting in the sense that Python की अगर हम बात करें तो we can see that there are three operators that are dealing with division. Now floor division is also used for division, as the name itself suggests, it is used for division. So we have three operators in Python and deal with division only. Now we have clearly understood the difference between division and modulus. So why do we have floor division? The question is this. For this, again, let's move on to our uh, ideally, Python ideally, to get the exact answer, what we are looking for. So I'll take the same example because it's very simple to use. So if I use 10 divided by 2, I'm getting 5.0. But if I use floor division, I get 5. So what difference do you see? What difference do you see?
so
So if,
only we
Now
can see
value is in
integer part.
integer instead of float.
yeah, yes. Now here, if we were using, like we were using the division operator, we got 5.0 with the decimal value, right? But here, if you can see here, what do we get? We got 5 only. That is, it is not displaying the decimal value here. So if we are using floor division, that means it will truncate, it will skip this part, it will not show the decimal value. So let's try something else, something that will surely give us some decimal values. So again, okay, any other, let's say 13 divided by 5, what do we get? 2.6. Okay, but if I use 13, I got 2. right? So this is the major difference. This is the major difference. So if you are creating a program in which you do not want to use the decimal values, right? You are not interested in the decimal values. So simply in that case, you can use the float division. So keep this in mind that in Python, we have three different operators, right? And deal with division only. Okay. Okay. Then we have comparison operators. Comparison operators are very important because in programming you have to deal with all this a lot many times. Comparing values. Computers are not only for arithmetic calculation. Computers are quite good at comparing. Computers are quite good at logical computations also. So just now we dealt with the arithmetic part. Now we are going to deal with the comparison. That how values are compared, or we can say technically we can say how operands are compared with each other. And if you want to compare operands, then in that case you need to use comparison operators. So here is a list of all the comparison operators, and we'll be using them one by one, and we'll check it how they work. So the first one is equal. Those who are already into programming, it will be quite easy because uh, I believe all of them are used in other languages also in the same fashion, almost in the same fashion, right? So we have the equality operator first, double equal to, right? And then we have not equal to, okay? And then we have this greater than. We all know what is the use of greater than, less than. No need to tell you, explain this. What is the use of greater than or less than? Then we have greater than equal to. Yes, we need to explain this, but I'll show you practically that why we have greater and then why we have equal. So we have less than equal to. So how many are there total? 6 are there. So let's look at these operators and see how they work. First, let's check the equality operator. So the name itself suggests that it helps us in comparing two values, whether these two values are equal or not. And before we look at the output, okay, let's first look at the output. What do we get? So 10 equal to 5.
We'll get the false value, false.
Yeah. Every relational operator returns a Boolean value. Boolean, for those who are new, Boolean basically means either true or false, right? So if you are using relational operators, these relational operators, after comparing the values, will return either false or true, depending on what kind of values we are using. So 10 and 5, of course, they are not equal to each other, right? And if they are not equal to each other, so it will return false. So let's take 10 equal to 10. Sorry, 10. Well, it will be true. Definitely it will be true because 10 is equal to 10. Now, the point is, in some of the expressions, you will see this single equal to. And here in relational operator, we are using double equal to. So why this difference is there? Why do we need to put double equal to, and why we are putting a single equal to?
So single equal to is for assigning a value, whereas this is for the comparison. This double one is.
Yeah, exactly. Single means that the value on the right hand side will be stored in the variable on the left hand side, right? Maths, maybe we keep using it, so it's very simple to understand that if you are using, this is called an assignment operator. We'll be dealing with it afterwards, but just to make it clear, I'm using it here only. So single equal to means that we are assigning this value to this variable. So if I print the value of a here, I should get 10. Got it? That's why for equality, we use double equal to. And for assigning values, we use single equal to. Now let's move on. So now equality operator is clear to us. Now let's move on to the not equal to part. So not equal to 5. What do we get? 2. Again, not equal to is a relational operator. So whenever we will be using relational operators in our program, they will return one value. Either it will be true or false depending on the comparison. So definitely now 10 is not equal to 5. Yes, it's correct. So we got true, right? But what if we write 10? 10 is not equal to 10. But false. Simple, right? Because 10 is equal to 10. But here what we are trying to do is we are trying that 10 is not equal to 10. So definitely it will return false. So this comparison is also clear. Less than equal to, less than greater than, it's very easy. Let's quickly use these operators and we'll see 10 is less than, okay, 15. Yes, 10 is less than 15. So true hai. 10 is less than 3. So it's false. Now let's use greater than. 10 is greater than 45. False. So is 45 greater than 10? Yes, true. Okay, but let's check this now. Now I'm using greater than equal to, and when I press enter, I get true. Now, why is it so? As you can see, yes, anyone who would like to explain this?
Yes, because equal to sign is also given here.
Yeah, because we are using two. Yes, anyone?
Either
Okay.
if any condition is true, in case of if we are using two operators, then it will return true.
Yes. So we are using, clearly you can see that we are using two operators here, right? We are using greater than and then we are using equal to. So if this is not satisfied, then it will check for this, right? And if both the values are equal, then this will return true. So left to right, right? So first it will evaluate this. Is 10 greater than 10? No. But after it returns no, then it will check the next one. Is 10 equal to 10? Yes, it is equal. So that's why the final output is true. Okay. So same is with less than equal to also. Although 10 is not equal, less than 10, but yes, as 10 is equal to 10, so this will return true. So this is the main thing you need to keep in mind. But programmatically, what do you think? Where do we need to use these kind of statements? Okay, comparing greater than less than is very easy. But यहाँ आप मुझे कोई ऐसा example दे सकते हैं जो मुझे ये बताए कि yes, this is a situation
Yes,
where
sir.
we
May
need
I?
to use. Yeah, sure. Greater than or
Sir,
less than.
actually, if we are checking a particular student is pass or not, so if he or she is getting 33 marks out of 100, then either it may be equal or either it may be greater than 33. Then in both the situation that a student will be passed. So we can
Yes.
use this thing there.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
definitely. Right. Thank you. Now, the same example we'll take. Let's say the school criteria is such that if a student scores marks 33 or maybe greater than 33, then the student should be considered as passing the exam, right? So in this case now, what if a student has scored 33? If a student has scored 33 marks, then definitely the student should be passed. So now we'll make that program afterwards, but I hope you have understood that why we are using this greater than equal to and less than equal to. Okay, and you must be clear with this because this is a very useful operator. Both of them are very useful operator, and we told you in which scenario it can be used, right? Let's move on to the next part. So comparison operators are clear to us that we have 6 total comparison operators in Python, and these operators will return Boolean value either true or false depending on the comparison. Okay, we also discussed the difference between double equal to, that is equal to equality operator, and single equal to. We'll be dealing with it afterwards. And then we also clearly saw that what is the difference between less than, greater than equal to, and less than equal to. Okay. Now let's move on to the next phase. Arithmetic is clear to us. Comparison is now clear to us. Let's move on to the logical operators. Now, we all have studied that computers are good at arithmetic calculation, they are good at comparison, and that they are good at taking logical decisions. Although up till now we still don't have computers that can take their own decisions. We are into it, although machine learning and artificial intelligence, we are developing such computers, right? We have quantum computers also. But up till now, the computers that are being used widely, we don't have computers that can take decisions on their own, but they can very well evaluate, right, logical expressions. So now we'll be dealing with the logical operators that help the computer and in solving the logical expressions. So we have 3 logical operators. We have AND, OR, and NOT. Okay. Now, first thing that you can see in the example here, that here we are using 2 expressions, right? First example is x less than 5 and x less than 10. So we have 2 expressions here, and we have 1 logical operator. So here also we can see that x is less than 5 and x is less than 4. Again, we have 2 expressions and 1 logical operators. And here also we are using NOT, right? We have 2 expressions, and in fact we are using 2 logical operators, NOT and AND. So this first is where we have more than 1 expression, right? Then only we'll be able to correctly find the solution, right? So AND returns true if both statements are true. So we take this as a statement, right? X less than 5 and x less than 10. If both of them are true, evaluate to true, this evaluates to true, and this also evaluates to true, then the final outcome will be true. Again, logical operators also, just like relational operators, they also return Boolean values. Okay, so they'll return true or false. So if this is true, x less than 5 is true, and x less than 10 is also true, then the final outcome will be true. Okay, an example, just we sometimes say that I want this and that. So we make sure that we get both the things, then only we'll be happy. Okay, so AND is just like that. Then we have OR. Now in case of OR, returns true if one of the statement is true. So in this case, even if one of the statement is true, then it will return true. Okay, मान लीजिए x less than 5 is true, but x less than 4 is not true, it is false. So still, if one of these statements return true, then the total output will be true. Okay, it's like when we ask for something, we say that I want this or that. Okay, so I'll be happy even if I get one of the things. So that's OR. And NOT is just the inverse. Inverse means it will inverse the outcome of this expression. So इसके लिए what you have to do is, first you need to take care of this, the expressions or the statements within the braces. So let's say this holds true and this holds true. So we are using AND. So what we will get? We'll get true. Now, as we are using the not, so not kya karta hai? It will
It
inverse
converts it to the false.
Yeah, it will. What it will do is we have true here, so it will convert it into false. Okay, so this is how it works. You need to be very much clear with this. So I'm again repeating it one more time. If you are using and, then if all the statements are true, then the final outcome will be true. So if we have or, then if all the statements are, sorry, one of the statement is true, then we will have true. And not is, it will inverse. So whatever the final outcome will be, if it will be true, it will make it false. If it is false, it will make it true. So we can understand this quickly with the help of a table that we can quickly make. Okay, so use this. So let's first understand the usage of and. So how and works. So if we have true and true, so we'll have true. Let's suppose if one expression is true, statement is true, and the other one is false, then what we will get? We'll get false. If both are false, we are using and. If both are false, then we'll get false. I can write like this. Okay. Just to make things more clear. Okay. So this will be the output. Right. Now let's see how OR works. So we have OR. Let's say one of the statement is true. The other one is also true. Then the final outcome will be true. If we have true and one of the statement returns false, then
And also it's true.
It will be true. What if we have false and the other one is also false? Final outcome will be false. Okay. Then let's talk about not. So let's use the AND operator with this. So originally true and true will give us what? True and true will give us true. But as we are using not now, so this will be
So
inverse.
it will inverse it and give it as false.
False. It will return false, and true and false, we get, what do we get? When we have true and false, we get false. So now it will
be true.
Yeah, it will inverse it. It will give us true. And then we have false and false. So the outcome will be
false and it is true.
We are using not, so it will return true. So this is the table, right? We need to look at this, and it is basically showing you how exactly these operators, logical operators, are used and how the values are returned. Usage we haven't seen, I'm sorry, but here we are talking about the values they'll return, right? So now let's check how we can use these operators. Okay. So we are using the same values. Let's have two different expressions. So first expression is 10 is less than 5 and 5 is greater than 10. Okay. So we have two statements here. This is the first one. So what will be the outcome of this? Is 10 less than 5?
False.
So this is false. Okay, keep this in mind. And this one, is 5 greater than 10?
False.
So we have false and false. So what will we get? We will get false. Now let's check this. So if we have 4 is less than 10 and 5 or maybe 12 is less than 20. So what do we get now? So we have two different statements here. Let's talk about the first one. Is this true? Yes. 4
Yes,
is
sir.
less than 10. Yes, true. So this is 12 less than 20. Yes, true.
True.
So we have true and true. So the final outcome will be
True.
true. Okay. So now let's look at this. Is 101 equal to 10, and let's say 90 is less than 6. What about this? So the first one is true or false?
False.
101, yeah, false.
False.
And the second
Another
one is false. Yeah. So 90 is less than 56. So false and false, we'll get false.
false.
Now let's use the same expressions for OR. So the first one is 10 is less than 5, or 5 is greater than 10. So what do we get? We are using OR here. So the first one is 10 less than 5? This is false. And then is 5 greater than 10? False. So false and false with OR, what do you get?
False.
Oh, sorry, false.
Yeah. So now let's check this. 5 is less than 10, or 5 equals to 10. Now, the first
True.
one is true and the second one is false.
False.
So we are using OR.
So this
So
would be
what
true.
will it? It will be right. Okay. And then we, of course, if both the statements are false, then we'll get false only. Okay. Chalo, take out. This is false, or 9 is less than 1. So we get false. False or false, both are false, so we get false. Now, and or are quite okay. But now let's work on not. So I'll be using this, right, and wanna, and see what happens. Not 10 is less than 5, okay, and 5 is greater than 10. So what we'll get? So here we got false, right? And now, yeah.
It will be true.
Yes, right? So the second expression was, again, we will use not here. 4 is less than 10 and 5 is greater than 10. Okay, so am I using, sorry. 4 is less than 12 is be 12 and 20 here. So we got 2. Okay. Why we got 2 here? Okay, sorry. Again, small mistake. Should be this, and 12 is less than 20. So here you can see in this expression we got 2, but here we're getting false. So in the last one was 101. We have to use not. So 101 equals to 10 and 90 is less than 6. So here we got false. So we are using not. Clear now? So this is how they work, and, or, and not. Very important operators, because whenever we have to write a program in which we have to use logical statements, and those statements need to be evaluated, then in that case we can use the logical operators and, or, and not. You must have clearly understood the difference between these 3 logical operators. And one more thing, it's not like that we can only use 2 statements. We can use any number of statements here, right? I mean, I can write something like this: 10 less than 5, and I have randomly, I'm just writing it just to explain it to you, that it's not the case that we can only use 2 statements. You can use any number of statements. Right? Because in real life examples also, you might have to create a program wherein you need to use multiple conditions, right? Multiple statements. Okay. So these statements, these operators can be used with multiple statements. Like just now I showed it to you how it works, right? Okay. Then there are some other operators also, right? We have assign, okay, assignment operator. We have add and assign. We have subtract and assign. We have divide and assign. We have multiply and assign. Modulus and assign. Exponent and assign. Floor, divide and assign. Now, the first one we have understood, right? I gave you a small example also how we can basically store a value in a variable using the assignment operator. Simple one. A, so the value of A will be 10. So this means that A is assigned this value 10, and here we have used the assignment operator. Okay, is there anyone who can explain the difference here? Why? What is the use of this add and assign? Anyone? Can we use these type of expressions? So what if I write something like A plus equal to int. We got 20. Why is it so?
Actually,
Anyone?
it's what it is doing. A equals to A plus 10. To whatever A's value is there, that will be add on 10.
Yes. Now, as you can see here, we got 20. Why we got 20? Because the value of A basically is 10. Assigned value is 10. So what it is doing first is it is assigning the value 10 to A, right? And while assigning, it is also adding the value again to the previous value. So A की previous value was 10. So again, ये वाला जो है, ये 10 हो गया. Now this will be shifted to this side again one more time. So this will be 10 plus 10. So that's why the output is 20. Right. So this is what add and assign is, and same is with subtract and assign. Okay. Well, let's try how it will work. Syntax remains the same. So if I print the value of A now, do I get
It will give
10? We give 10, right? But we can we write it like this also? It is working, right? It is working. So A equal to A minus 10 is also doing the same thing for us. Then why do we have these kind of statements? Anyway.
Because in first statement, A value was 20. Then 20 minus 10 will be equals to 10. But in second statement, A's value was 10. So 10 minus 10 will be equals to 0.
Yeah. Oh, that's correct. The functioning is correct. What I mean to ask you is, what I'm trying is that why do we have these kind of statements when the same thing can be done with this? I personally believe this sounds much more easier, isn't it? Have a look at it. A equal
Yes,
to
sir.
A
But
minus.
if we want to give both the things in a single statement, then we can use the other one.
Okay. Anyone else? It's fine, but Why do we have these? देखिए काम तो वही है. This is also doing the same thing. This is also doing the same thing. Any specific reason for this?
So is in the above, I mean, this is a question. So in the, I mean, above A, which we have given, on which your cursor is blinking right now, why this A has taken the value as 20?
Because here only we have added the value.
Okay,
It's,
means it is in the continuation of the
yeah,
previous
it's in
value which we have
continuity.
already assigned. Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay, okay, sir.
See, one purpose of this is why do we have statements like this? In programming, it is a very important thing that the size of our code should be small, right? Programmers, when we get into serious level of programming, programs are made in a way that the number of lines in the code should be less. Let's keep it like this. We use different apps. Which app we like to prefer or use? There are many apps, right? There are many apps floating around. We use number of apps. We download those apps from Google Play Store, right? Or any other source. But why is it that we give preference to a specific app and we don't give preference to any other app? Any specific reason or reasons that you know? What are the reasons?
Because
We
some
don't
apps
want the
take
app to be
little time
complicated.
to install or download.
Yes, exactly. App is the first thing we look for is that the interface should be easy. It should not be complex. अगर मैं आपको ऐसी ऐप बना के दे दूं जिसका इंटरफेस ही आपको समझना है हाउ टू इंटरेक्ट विद इट तो you won't like that app, right? What you will do is you either will not download it or uninstall it from your system. The other thing is the performance. We like to use apps that are quick and that are faster as compared to any other app. So अब ये quick और fast कोई app कैसे बनेगी? The best way of doing it, apps वो fast होती हैं जिनमें number of lines of code is less, because then जब ये apps run करती हैं तो compiler or the interpreter takes less time to execute those apps as compared to the apps in which the length of code or number of lines of code is higher. So it is always advisable, it is always a good practice, considered a good programming practice, that we use statements that are smaller in size. अगर देखा जाए तो इन दोनों में कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. But then this seems very short as compared to this, right? टाइपिंग पे आप मत जाइए, टाइपिंग की बात नहीं है. आप बोलेंगे टाइपिंग में कोई ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू मेमोरी यूटिलाइजेशन, right, then this statement wins over this, because the compiler and the interpreter would take less time in executing this. Although at the level we are right now, it seems okay, but because it doesn't make much of the difference. But when we move into a serious level of programming where we have to write a huge amount of code, right? In that case, this helps. This helps. So that this is the reason. Okay. Otherwise, it can be done like this also. So similarly, we have multiplication. Now you have understood. You can use it, right? We have floor and sign and everything. Okay. So now I told you that. We'll try and touch the conditional programming part. We'll give you a small introduction about what it is. Conditional programming is widely used and we are using it almost everywhere, right? Take even our television sets also. They're also nowadays modern televisions are well programmed, right? Even if when we go for filling petrol or diesel in our cars, then the vending machine also is programmed, right? ATM machine, I've given the example not many times. So I'll take the same example of a ATM machine. When you insert your card and when you are asked to enter your PIN number, and by chance if you enter a wrong PIN number, what do? You get an error message. Now there must be something, there must be some way that the chip in the ATM machine is programmed in a way that when you enter a wrong PIN number, right, and it detects it that a wrong number has been entered, and then it gives you a error message. It displays an error message to you. How it is done? At the background, it's all conditional programming that is working. So the computer is given a condition to evaluate, right? It evaluates that condition. Now, again, when a condition is evaluated, it returns either true or false. So when we get true, we perform certain tasks. We ask the computer to perform or execute certain statements, right? Like in case of a PIN number, when a wrong PIN number is entered, right, the message, the wrong PIN number is entered, then the condition returns false. And once it returns false, the error message is displayed. But on the other hand, when a correct PIN number is entered, the condition returns true, then we move forward with the transaction. So this all is called conditional programming, and we all are faced in our real life also, everyday life, we face a lot of conditions, right? If this will happen, then what am I supposed to do? If this does not happen, then what am I supposed to do? The same is in computing. So there are various statements that are used in Python and other programming languages also that help us in handling these conditional statements. Some of these are if, else statement in Python we have. Then we have if, else if, and we will also be looking at if, elif, and else statement. But we'll discuss all this in the next session because we don't have that much of time right now to discuss all these statements. But this was just to give you a view of what conditional programming is, and in our next sessions now we'll be dealing with this, right? So today we discussed all the operators. We started with what an expression is. Let's have a quick revision of this. An expression, I told you, basically has two things in it: operand and the operators. Okay, operators are nothing but symbols, and they can be used for performing arithmetic calculations. They can be used for performing comparisons. They can also be used for analyzing conditional statements, or we can say logical statements. Okay, and then we discussed arithmetic operators, right? These are the arithmetic operators, and we clearly understood what is the difference between modulus, division, and floor division. We also discussed comparison operators. Okay, we have 6 comparison operators. We made it clear, we have understood it clearly that what is the difference between less than, greater than, less than equal to, and greater than equal to, along with double equal to sign and the single equal to sign, that's assignment operator. And we also discussed and, or, and not. And now I hope you are clear with this, that how these can be used and what is the difference between and, or, and not logical operators, right? So I'll wind up here. Thank you very much, everyone. So keep practicing so that when we meet for the next session, these concepts should be clear.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.